Welcome back to another video. My grandkids keep encouraging me to make these, and so this is for my 7 grandkids, and just for the fun of it too, for me, and especially this time for my granddaughters, and especially for my 3rd granddaughter, who is going to be graduating from high school in May. And so I'm working on a bandsaw box to give to her as a graduation present. And I thought it would be nice to make this video on how I'm doing a bandsaw box. Plus, it'd be nice for her to see how I actually made the one that she's going to get as a gift. So we're going to start with that. I've been making some bandsaw boxes. They're just kind of fun. And I've used copies of plans that I've gotten. I got a book, I got some offline, and so up to this point I've been following those, maybe varying them a little bit, but I've been doing that. So this time I decided I was going to do something a little unique, and so I saw, it's not totally straight out of my head, but I saw one that was 3 drawers with some hearts. Looks like that. And so I didn't have a set of plans, I just saw the picture. And so I went online. There's all kinds of clip art. I look for clip art all the time when I'm using my laser engraver. And so I found some individual hearts that kind of matched what we were looking for, like this. And then I just laid them out. I cut them out and laid them out on a piece of paper, and then I drew around them to give me the overall box shape, and that's what I'm starting with. So I made that copy up. That'll be my original, and I've got a copy that I'll use to put on the wood. Now for this particular project, I'm using 3 different woods. I'm using some walnut for the outside edges. I'm using Baltic birch plywood for a couple layers. They add a nice contrast. And then I'm using zebra wood in the center. And my goal is to make the drawer fronts out of zebra wood too, to make a nice contrast to the walnuts. So I had this lumber. One nice thing about bandsaw boxes is that you've got cutoffs and pieces left from other projects. You can really put them together nice to make up your starting block of wood. So I glued these up yesterday. I like to let them sit at least 24 hours. And so today I'll start with actually cutting out the bandsaw box, and we'll be doing that. And so hope you enjoy what we're doing, seeing how I'm doing it, and always looking for good comments on how to improve things. So I've showed you I've got my block all glued up, and I've got my pattern, and so I want to put it on the block of wood. I just square up the bottom with the bottom of it. The rest of it, of course, will be cut out anyway. And so to start with, I use a repositionable adhesive. I'm not sure, with a little time it's not easily repositionable, and that's not my point to use it, but it does make, when you go to actually taking the paper back off, I think it makes it easier if you use this kind of adhesive. So this is what I've used up to this point, and I just spray it on fairly liberally. I want to make sure I get the edges good, and get it on there good. Take my pattern and line it up on here and press it down, and we should be good to go. So from here we'll go to the bandsaw and we'll start our actually cutting. Okay, so we're set up here to cut the outside of the box, to cut the basic shape of the box. And I use a 3/16 blade. I can use it and pretty much cut everything. Some guys switch back and forth. I'm probably lazy about it, and I just use the 3/16, works well. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this, get my dust collection going here, and we'll cut this out and go from there. There we've got our basic box cut out, and you know, it's pretty nice. I'll do the final sanding once I get the whole box done. So for right now, I'll leave that. The next step's going to be to take and cut the back, and we'll cut a 1/2 inch off of this back to get our back off before we cut out the actual boxes. So we've got the basic shape of the box cut, and so now we're going to cut the back off. We'll cut the back off before we cut out the drawers. That way when you put it all back together, you'll have a solid back. And so I cut a 1/2 inch off the back. Some of them will tell something a little different, but anyway, just want to make sure I got enough clearance here on this Laguna saw, which is really nice. I've got this tall fence, and I can set it right at 1/2 inch. And once again, we'll cut this, get my done. When we get all done, now we've got the back cut out. This may seem a little silly, but I go ahead and mark. Looks kind of obvious, but I go ahead and mark that this is the back and it's inside, so that I don't make any mix-ups. Even though it seems kind of obvious, you end up with a few pieces here, and sometimes that works better. So we'll just set that aside. Now we'll get ready to cut out the actual drawers. So when I go to cut the drawers, the only mistake I made with the clip art I got here was I got something with a real thick line. So I'm going to cut on the inside of these lines. I think that'll give me enough thickness in the rest of the box. The other thing is, when you go to cut in, you know, you're going to leave a gap that needs to be closed up, and that works fine. But the closer you can make a nice straight cut, and the closer you can be to making that cut through the part that's going to be left here that you're going to close up, the closer you can make that cut with the grain, it won't show. They don't show very well anyway, but if you can do it more going with the grain, it shows even less. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do here. Again, I get the bandsaw set. Doesn't really matter which one. So here we've got our box with all the drawers cut out of it, and we'll take it over to the bench and start to glue things up a little bit. But I think first, while we're here at the bandsaw, I'm going to go ahead on each one of the drawers that I cut out, and we'll go ahead and we got to take the front and the back off of each one of these. So again, I'm going to take 3/16 off the front and back, and then we'll do our drawer cutout later. But I'll mark these as I go. I'll just number them so I keep my pieces together. So I'll set my fence at 3/16. I'm sorry, at 3/8, and we'll cut the fronts and backs on these, and then we'll be ready to take them over the bench and do the rest. To glue up where we cut here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get as much of this paper off as I can. Like I said, I use that repositionable glue, and it's pretty good. There'll be a little bit left here that I have to sand. So I use just regular Type Bond 3 glue, wood glue. I use these silicone brushes. I really like them. They clean up nice. If the glue does dry on them a little bit, you can peel it right out. The other thing I'll use here is just some of these little sticks to spread the glue down in that groove. I just take some clamps, line it up as best you can, clamp it down tight, wipe off your excess where you can. Okay, our next step is to actually cut out the drawers. So, we cut the front and the back off of the drawer blank so that now we can cut on the bandsaw, and then of course when we put it back on, then we'll have our drawer. So I'm going to show you a small one. So this is kind of a freehand by your choice kind of deal. I'm using walnut here, so I'm using a white pencil. It works better. And so you're kind of, it's kind of what you think you want to end up with. So I'm just starting up here, and I'm drawing a line, not the straightest line, but when we cut it, it'll look fine. I come down like that, keep my same distance, come up around, I'll bring this one up a little bit more so that I'm symmetrical. And when we cut that out on the bandsaw, that should be our drawer opening. And then, like I said before, when you put your front and your back on, you'll have your drawer. So I'll go ahead and do the other two off camera, and then we'll go cut them on the bandsaw. Okay, so we've got our drawers cut out. Like I told you, I keep all the pieces together. So we'll take, this was the top drawer, and I'm going to take this apart, set them over to the side. I've got my lines marked out for the drawer, and we'll go ahead and cut this one. Get our bandsaw set, fence out of the way. Dust collection going, and start cutting. And there we've got our drawer cut out. So get the pieces back like so. When you glue that up, that becomes your drawer. So I'll go ahead and do the other two, and then we'll get on to the next step of putting everything back together. Well, we're getting ready to finish this project up, and so I've got the basic, the framework of everything done here. I've sanded this, and I put a rounded edge. I use an 1/8 inch round over bit to do all this. It just kind of gives it a little finished look. You'll see, did the same thing on the drawers. So when you put it in, just gives it a nice finished look. The drawers are complete. These took a little longer because normally I'd use the front that I had cut off of there, but I wanted to contrast with the walnut, and so I used the zebra wood and had to recut them, resaw them, and fit them to size. So it took a little longer, but I like the contrast, and so it comes out pretty good. So again, I've sanded these, finished them. I also put an engraving on the back of this for the graduate. And so now it's just a case of finishing. I'm going to use a spray-on poly, probably 5 or 6 coats. And it should be done, and we'll give you a look at it when we get to that point. Well, we've got the finished product right here. Do a little spin around here with the engraving on the back. And again, I rounded the edge of the drawers and the edge of the frame. These are some little gold jewelry box knobs that I've bought. The screws don't work with them, so I take a piece of wire and epoxy them into a little hole on there. It works really well. Did that on all 3 of them. I used Minwax spray polyurethane on this, and I put about 5 coats on. Normally I'll do about 3 coats, and then I give it a light sanding with a 600 paper, and then do however many more I think it takes to finish it. So this came out really good. My first attempt at designing my own bandsaw box. I did see a picture one that looked like this, but then I just drew this up myself, and I used some clip art for the heart shapes that I got off the internet, and then from there I just drew the rest of it kind of freehand. So really good project. I hope that she's going to enjoy this. Elle, this is for your graduation, and the rest of you girls, my granddaughters, another video that you can take a look at. So here's to you. Love you all.